Hey YouTube, this is Southern Purple Wine and welcome to Boots on the Ground. Let's get right into it. Article, the largest U.S. banks are warning of trouble ahead in the auto loans as prices are dropping for used cars. And this is going to make a lot of people underwater with their loans on their vehicle. This person in New Hampshire, I bought a battery at Walmart, cost $170 plus the core. I buy them there because I thought it'd be affordable. To my surprise, Napa or another auto parts store was only $180. Not much of a saving. When did batteries get so expensive just for a Jeep? We all know inflation is rising and raising prices drastically. I have been buying eggs at Target because I found them to be cheaper now than at most grocery stores. I used to buy them at a club warehouse called BJ's. Target last week, $2.39. This week, $3.49 for the exact same eggs. BJ Club Warehouse, I used to buy a large 5 dozen pack for a year ago. It was $7.49 for 5 dozen eggs. Now the same eggs are $20. In our town, we're not allowed to have chickens at all unless we are a farm, and that would be in Rhode Island. It is Saturday morning, and I just got back from town. I felt it everywhere I went today. I started out looking for 5-gallon food-grade buckets to finish some organizing I'm doing in the pantry. I could not find them anywhere. I ended up at Ace Hardware, where I settled for 5-gallon paint buckets. I remember when I first started following you years ago, I think I paid $3 for a food-grade bucket with a lid. Today I paid $5 for each bucket and $5 for each lid, and they only had 3 of them. Then I headed to the grocery store. On the way, I drove past Walgreens and remembered that the local news announced last night that Walgreens is closing their pharmacies. Probably won't be long before their buildings are vacant. The grocery store seems to be well stocked, except there was no good potatoes, sweet or white. Not many people were there. I didn't have to wait for anyone to get anything off the shelves or checking out. They said they usually, when I fill the cart, it usually costs between $200 and $300, depending on how much meat and laundry soap I buy. I did not buy anything unusual today. It cost me $499 at the register. I am blessed that my husband and I are still able to work and we can make these trips to the store. I am double blessed that I started listening to you over 10 years ago. I want to say thank you for what you do. I would not be able to catch up right now if I had to start from scratch. So yes, I appreciate many people have been with me over 10 years, and I appreciate every one of you. And I'm glad you started prepping, because right now, if you're a newbie and you just started prepping with the inflation and all the economic problems, I don't know you could catch up, honestly, unless you had an unlimited amount of money. I remember a few weeks back, someone wrote about animals being more aggressive this year. Well, I can tell you, I was trying to work outside today in southern Indiana, and no matter where I went or what I did, I got attacked by insects, wasps, beetles, flies, you name it. I almost took a video to show to my friends how many were hanging around my back door, almost daring me to come back out. Crazy. Hello, we get assistance from the government, food stamps and medical, and every year you have to complete an interview to see if you still qualify. And now because of COVID, they still don't have the office open and it's over the phone. Well, the first day I called, I was waiting on hold for 6 hours and no one picked up. So I called the next day and I was on hold for a few hours. And then someone answered and told me that my interview was yesterday, but no one is answering the phones and I was on hold for hours. So she called back again. Luckily, this lady has a job where she could actually have the phone at work and just leave it on her desk. But what she's saying, there's some people that can't do that, and a lot of people are counting on this assistance. So hopefully they can figure this out and get to be able to help people at a quicker pace than hours and hours on the phone. This is Phoenix, Arizona. Went shopping 2 weeks ago for camping food and picked up a package of Ballpark's hamburger buns. I returned home from the trip and picked up some more this week. The buns are noticeably smaller in size. So yes, everything is shrinking. This person sent from Maine, no heating. Coal was able to deliver it in Maine. I guess they're having a shortage. And they say, can you do a video and investigate this coal shortage? I really don't have any connections. Maybe somebody out there that knows why the shortage of people needing coal for their house is short. He's saying that people are now having to switch over to electric. And he's also reporting there's low or no supply of K1 kerosene in Maine. Maine folks are panicking. Today, the United States Postal Service filed notice with the Postal Regulatory Commission of a price change to take effect January 22nd, 2023. The new rates include a 3-cent increase in the price of first-class mail, so it's going to go from, I guess, 60 cents to 63 cents. My good friend's husband works here, and I'm told it's the world's largest Target warehouse in Northern California. This time of year, they're usually on mandatory overtime. About 2 weeks ago, they had to shut down the line and send almost 40 people home. This is still going on. Management, who has been there for years, have never seen this before. I'm thinking stores just aren't ordering and trucks aren't moving the product. Not a good sign. Also, it probably could be because there's no demand. Everyone's spending their money on the essentials. More information coming out from the barges stranded on the Mississippi. I appreciate everyone sending me articles and pictures. Water is at a critical level. We definitely need rain in that area to bring the water level up. I just want to tell people that prepping is not just for being ready for SHTF. Recently, I had to have a surgery. They had sidelined me for the past 3 months. I have been stocked up for some time now and have a good supply in hand. And this has enabled my family to weather the storm. Please remind people it doesn't need to be a major disaster. Anything can happen at any time. Be ready and have a good supply at home. This person says, I live about 90 miles north of New York City and my landlord decided to sell the house I rented. I went and looked at an apartment yesterday and there was black mold all over. The weird thing was when the manager requested a background check, they wanted a credit card, they wanted social media accounts. No thanks, I'm not applying for a pistol print. I'm trying to keep a roof over my head. The rent here has doubled since the bat flu came out from everyone with money from the city buying up all the houses and properties that are outside the city. This is from Washington State. I recently had a locksmith work on my front door. While he was fixing the lock, we talked about the increased crime in the area. He mentioned that before the pandemic, he would get calls to fix a lock twice a month due to break-ins. Now he says it's 7 per week. Many are starting to see firsthand what weak laws do to the community. Just a tip, a simple way to store emergency water is to use canning jars. So if you have empty canning jars laying around, you definitely can use that. This person buys special cat food because their cat has a urinary issue. It used to be $55 after tax for a case of 24, so they decided to buy another case and stock up. It's gone up to $70. And their math, they say it's 27% increase. That is unbelievable. My husband was at the Superstore, and I think this is in Canada, yes. And it's a large grocery store like Walmart here in Canada. Lots of gaps, shortages, and fronting as usual, but he also noticed there was no lettuce of any variety, of any brand. I heard about this as well from friends in other provinces. Something to keep in mind if you are able to grow in the wintertime, and a lot of people in the United States are, start growing. All your green leafy vegetables can be grown. Kale, lettuce, spinach. This person says they are in, I'm just going to say they're in Tennessee. He works for a steel erection company in Nashville. Just laid off 9 guys, hated to do it. Work is getting slow. He also said, my neighbor just bought a house in acreage 2 years ago. He got a letter saying he had to tear down his outbuildings and barns. They're very old. Been there since I was a little kid. If not, they would default on his loan. This also said, for some reason, this family had to take in 3 children, 3 young kids, 18 months to 11-year-old. So his wife had to quit their job of 15 years to take care of the babies. The state doesn't help at all. Work is crazy. Thought you'd like to know about the banking thing. And that banking thing is, I guess if he doesn't get it taken care of, they're going to default. That is unbelievable. Anytime you are in debt to anyone, you have to jump through hoops a lot of times. Went to the grocery store today and was surprised to hear a recording message playing in the parking lot. Beware of your surroundings at all time. So yes, they're warning people because the crime is shooting through the roof. If you probably heard about the handgun sales, or the ban of purchasing and transferring is now illegal. So no more handguns. This person said it's only a matter of time before they come take the ones they do have. I'm unsure if anyone in your area is working with this project. It's called Project Lifesaver Program. It is usually the County Office of Emergency Management or the Sheriff's Department handling this. This is an ankle bracelet that can be placed on elderly people when they go missing. They can use a handheld receiver programmed to the same frequency as a bracelet to find the direction and locate the lost individual. And this is in regards to my buddy's mom wandering off, but she's doing good. And I think this is called Project Lifesaver International, so you can look that up if you're interested. I'm from Northwest Ohio, and I enjoy your Boots on the Ground video, and I enjoy everyone that sends me stuff. You guys are the reason this is successful. This is so many people are getting blessed for people sending me reports. I saw a report yesterday on the half and half and heavy cream shortage, and I think I know why. They looked at Meijer's and Kroger and Walmart, and they've said really all the prices have doubled in price since the beginning of summer. But there is hope. There's a lot of ways to make these things, so look it up on YouTube. If you can't find half and half or heavy cream, there's things you can make, and she wanted to stress this. She's a 63-year-old on Social Security, so she has a limited income. She also has a bunch of health problems, but she's hanging in there. The state of Ohio gave out extra COVID-19 extra food assistance. And the benefit was raised for her from $20 to $40. Even at $40, inflation just eats that away. So we have to think about all these elderly people, children. If you are truly blessed in life, do something to help someone. You might say, I can maybe only help one person. If everyone that's able can help one person, we would make a huge difference in this country. This lady said, it is said that I worked starting at the age of 14, worked my whole life until I became disabled in 2018. I've also have paid taxes then, and I do on some of my income I get now. I ask for no sympathy, as I'm a warrior and a child of Christ. I fully believe that God will always provide, but it's up to me to utilize what I am, what I have. So yes, this person has a great attitude. I'm seeing a lot of truck traffic on the highway, which is good. The harvest is still underway, and the dry fall is helping. I'm also seeing more homeless and more mentally ill people wandering all over the suburbs of Minneapolis and St. Paul's. A lot of my working class friends and families are under extreme financial pressure. Silver supply is dwindling down quickly. If you're trying to buy gold or silver on eBay with an eBay gift card, PayPal will stop the transaction and say you can only use the card for certain items. This is the first time I'm hearing about that. I could not verify that, so if anybody has any information they could add, please do. Just had a friend go to Mexico for a week, and they sent me pictures of a grocery store, well stocked. The vegetables looked awesome. It's the place I would love to shop. Also, if you've probably seen the reports coming out of Russia of their supermarkets being well stocked, it doesn't look like any of the problems of embargoing things going into that is causing them a problem. It seemed like their supermarkets were slammed full too. I work for the National Guard. I'll tell you, New Jersey. Work for the National Guard in New Jersey, and recently all the armories have been retrofitted with bulletproof doors. This is an over-the-road trucker with a small flatbed company. I've pretty much traveled all 48 states, and I just want to share a quick observation to dispel the myth regarding why prices of goods and services are so high. Most people attribute it to the cost of diesel. They have absolutely nothing to do with it. The shippers and receivers are not paying the trucking companies anymore due to the increase of diesel or diesel oil for that matter. The prices are being manipulated, and they're taking advantage of the so-called diesel increase to justify these increases in the shipping costs. The main issue is that the brokers are the middlemen that control the majority of the freight. They do not want to lose their customers who are all shippers and receivers. Therefore, they will keep the price minimal in order to maintain them as a customer base. The problem is brokers can take anywhere between 25 to 50% right off the top. This is insane. This insane situation that is only made worse by the greed of these brokerage firms. Many of them operate out of their parents' basements and only have a laptop and a smartphone for costs and expenditures. There's virtually no overhead for many of these brokers. They will deny this, but I've already known a friend who drove truck for over a decade and is now going into the brokerage business for the very same reason. What is happening is that a lot of small truckers and independent owner-operators are being squeezed out of the market due to the increase at the fuel pump and seeing very little in return. This is exactly what the larger truck companies want, and they will just continue to absorb smaller profit margin over the long haul to clear the market for next year. Just thought you and your audience should know the reality of the trucking industry. So basically, you want more and more truckers to drop out, and then the big boys will have everything at the end of the day or next year. My husband works for an automotive supplier in Michigan. He went to the office on Monday, and his company laid off 2 vice presidents and 3 directors. He was told the reason was due to inflation. I have now personally gotten a taste of what it's like not to be able to get medication that I desperately needed due to shortages of pharmacists. Yesterday at 11:30, I received a text from Walgreens Pharmacy in Franklin, North Carolina, saying that my medicine was ready for pickup. I was in too much pain to drive, so my husband went to pick them up at 5:30 p.m. When he pulled up, there was a sign on the window that said effectively 3 p.m., the pharmacy is closed due to technical difficulties. He went back this morning thinking the issue would have been resolved. But nope, new sign, closed until further notice. Long story short, in North Carolina, RX or prescription for pain medicine cannot be transferred. So since my doc isn't in the office today, I couldn't be bothered. He couldn't listen to the messages I left, asking him to call in the script to another pharmacy. I have to wait till next week and just suffer all weekend. Our country is falling apart, and saddens me to know how many people in dire need of medicine must be suffering because of these issues. This lady wants you to know that lamp oil, they can't find it in their area, so if you're needing it, and if you find it, you might want to grab it. This is a retired cop. Crime is out of control. There's not a day that goes by that I do not witness a crime here in this area. Drug deals, once done in the secrets, are now commonplace out in the open. A lot of businesses have plywood over the doors due to being victimized of burglaries. It is becoming dangerous to grocery shop. I spoke to a bakery department at Safeway. She reminded me to hold on to my purse just 2 feet away in my cart. She said they're having a huge issue of thieves just grabbing it and running off with people's purses. Just after she said that, a male came through the area riding his bike through the rear of the store with employees chasing him. If you have a family in the Puget Sound area, I would definitely not let them shop alone. I traded in my purse that I carry, and now I only keep my debit card in my pocket. I now make sure I carry my firearm everywhere I go, no exceptions. Dave, I just spent the last 2 days volunteering at our local pantry. We've been blessed to associate with a local pantry that has a lot of connections and a lot of supplies. Unfortunately, we keep adding customers. At this time last year, we had a total of 49 customers. We are now at nearly 100, adding more each month. We are only open 2 days every other week. We are unfortunately running out of everything people ask. We used to get so many items, but now we are at half of what we used to. And that is true because they're just limited and there's so many people. Most understand when they say that's all they got, but some get greedy and get upset. I am 6 foot, 230 pounds, and I feel I need to carry just to protect the little old ladies. I have military training, and I'm not afraid, but I remain concerned. This person's in Philadelphia and just heard on the radio that the heating oil deliveries have been rationed by the companies due to a shortage in supply. A bit of this news was also on Bloomberg this afternoon. Heating oil is now at $5.79 a gallon. I rent and our building heats with gas, but the owner has still added on a surcharge to the rent. I live on Social Security, so funds are very limited. I live in the low desert of Arizona where growing food can be difficult. To create compost, I collect the produce that can't be sold due to blemishes from all kinds of stores. She gets all kinds of leftovers, that stuff that can't be sold, and she composts it, and she uses it for her garden. Not many people were collecting, she said, but now a lot of people are getting this idea. And she said, I have to admit that many times I've made pies and soups from this produce. This is one small thing to do to help yourself. As long as a person can take action, then you won't feel so helpless. And I agree with that. That's all we've got time to cover. Continue praying, continue prepping, continue moving forward. The attitude you have, you can control your attitude. You can't control the news, so stay with a positive attitude. If you have a positive attitude, all the doom and gloom, you can handle it better. Do something small every day. If you can't afford a lot, if you just put 1 or 2 cans of Beanie Weenies back, you will feel like you're doing something. Doing a little bit every day adds up. After a month or two, it's like, oh wow, I'm starting a collection. Thanks for watching.